Hi, cuties. I am Lanickia, and you are watching Hot Topic Soap and Entertainment News. Today is Wednesday, May the 10th, 2023. Let's get into Days of Our Lives. Now, the recap is already up, so if you haven't watched the recap, it is up already so far. It was a good episode today, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. Just a few thoughts on Days. I'm actually liking the Talia Colin, Sloan, Chanel, Paulina storyline. I think it's moving I like the pace that it's going. So I'm actually really looking forward to seeing what else happens with this storyline. As far as the Nicole, Eric, and EJ storyline with her being pregnant and not knowing who the child's father is, I want to see how that plays out. Someone made an interesting claim, yet thought yesterday, as far as if it's not EJ's child, would he, change the paperwork or do anything of that nature? So I'm not sure what's going to end up happening there, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. And really and the whole Kate storyline as well as her being on the fishing boat and being Demetrius holding her ransom. But no one actually knows that she's being held ransom because he hasn't put out the demand yet. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But let's go ahead and move on. So moving on from that, then we have the Young and the Restless. Honestly, for me, on the Young and the Restless, my favorite storyline is the Elena, Nate, and Victoria. I want to see how this plays out as far as will Nate um, commit to Victoria now that Elena has pretty much left. On yesterday's episode, we see her walking out with her luggage. So I want to know, will he go ahead and commit to her, or what's going to end up happening? Will Elena end up forgiving him? Do they have another love interest in mind? How that all is going to play out. As far as the Phyllis storyline, for me, it's just been drawn out too long. The hatred towards Diane, Phyllis faking her death. It's never ending. Um, and it seems like they're just changing it as they go. I think it was a waste with Jeremy being killed off because I feel like that could have really been something good as far as him and Phyllis actually teaming up, and they not maybe in it turn towards more of a romance than them actually trying to get revenge. Like if they could have got him on the straight and narrow and he wasn't a crook. So I don't know. And of course I'm loving I did see on Monday the whole Neil storyline and I enjoyed that. Then we're gonna move to the Bold and the Beautiful. I did enjoy, you know what, for the Bold and the Beautiful. I'm interested to see what happens to Sheila, and that's pretty much it. I want to see what's going to happen with Sheila, and then after that, the Hope Thomas and Hope is falling for Thomas now. Has feelings over having feelings for Liam. I'm not really interested in that storyline. And then I'm not sure why they brought RJ on. This soap is right as of right now. It's a little lackluster, but again, people are saying, well, they're going to Rome, and once they go to Rome, the soap will pick up. So hopefully, that's exactly what it does. Excuse me, because as of right now, it's just a little lackluster for me. And then we have General Hospital, who, this year General Hospital has been going back and forth with me for the best soap between General Hospital and Days for me. I'm loving the Sprina, Trina, and Spencer storyline. When we find out he's alive and she goes running into his arms, I'm really loving that. Um, I don't really care for the storyline that's going on right now with the SEC and Nina Carling and Drew is upset and he punches Ned and everyone thinks that Ned turned him in. I don't really care about that storyline per se. So I don't know. I don't know. You guys can tell me what you think about that, but I'm not really too fond of it or interested in it right now. And let's get into our first entertainment hot topic because that's really it for the soap news. There wasn't anything really that came out as far as, soap celebrities or news of that nature. but there was a lot of things that came out as far as entertainment. The first one is with Shamar Moore. Now he was back on Young and the Restless on Monday. He played Malcolm. It was just like a one-off episode. He came in. He said, I'm leaving actually tonight, so he just breezed in and breezed out. But Shamar Moore stars in I believe it's called SWAT. It's his TV show on CBS, and it was canceled. Um, it actually got canceled, but he called out the fans, and he, on a 7-minute clip on Instagram, he went and he called out the fans, and he said, hey, I'm the only African American lead on, yeah, I guess on the big networks, and my show just got canceled, a show that you guys love, because the ratings for SWAT were like 6.8 million an episode. So it wasn't that it was a bad show, but the production of the show cost so much that they just could not. Sony and Universal couldn't come to terms. But the fans, he called on the fans to really stand up if you love this show, and they did. And so they actually reversed the cancellation, so it is uncanceled and it will be returning in the fall. Now I don't know when, because everyone is on a writer's strike right now, so I don't know how long that's going to last, but it will be returning in the fall. So the fans did what he asked them to do, and he got his show back, and they uncanceled. But it wasn't because of it wasn't because the show wasn't good. It's just that it costs so much to make it, so maybe they'll come to terms with the budget and start working out how they're going to do that going forward. And then the next hot topic that we have is with Kevin Costner. So as you know, um his wife is filing for divorce. And sources say it's because he just worked too much for her. He worked so much for her that she wasn't able. I never watched SWAT as well. Excuse me. I never watched that show as well, but I heard it's really good. But his wife, Kevin Costner's wife, is filing for divorce because it's just, she said he worked too much. He was always gone working, and then the marriage just broke down. Um, but we're hearing that, so I hope that they actually work it out, because I did like those two. They were married to 19 years, so I hope they do work it out. But also with Kevin Costner, we're hearing that as you know, Yellowstone is coming to an end, and his character, one of the reasons is because he was leaving the show, and so they need to film their final episodes, but he's actually not wanting to come back until they tell him what happens to his character, because he doesn't want his character to end like some shows do, where they kill the character off. He doesn't want that to happen, so he's in negotiation with them right now on whether or not he'll come back, depending on how they end the show. He's refusing to do that, and also his work schedule. I just told you his wife said, he worked too much, and that's one of the reasons for the divorce. They want him to come back for a month and work, and he's not really wanting to do that. He only wants to come back for maybe a week or at the most 3 weeks, but he doesn't want to stay a month or longer to film these final episodes. So I don't know. I hope they work it out, because I personally never watched Yellowstone. Although I did watch a few episodes and I really enjoyed it, but it was just one of those things where I never got into watching it every week, or during the summer sometimes I binge watch a show, and then the next season I'll start watching it. It was never one of those shows for me, but it was good, and it has a huge fan base, and a lot of spin-offs coming just off of this show. So I do hope they work it out for him, because Kevin Costner is like a legend. So it'd be nice to see if they did him right when it came to the show. Um, and the next hot topic is, if you watch the Real Housewives of, excuse me, Atlanta, then you will know Kim, and she was actually on the Housewives a long time. She got married. She met her husband and got married on the Housewives, and she had a spinoff show that did really well. Unfortunately for Kim, She's now in the midst of divorce with her husband, and it looks like at first everyone thought this would be like just a real clean divorce. Now we do know they've been struggling financially. Their house at home seems to be in foreclosure, as and they owe the IRS like 1.1 million. They owe American Express like $200,000. They owe taxes 15, like they're behind in taxes 15,000. So they're having a lot of financial trouble, and we know what that can do to a marriage when you have that kind of financial trouble going on in your home. But so her and her husband are getting divorced, and it looks like it looked like it was going to be like a divorce where they both agree on. It was going to be a simple, they have property together and everything, but they were going to split ways. And it was just going to be a nice, not nice, but it was just going to be a divorce where they just went their separate ways. But they were still going to be friendly towards each other. But now we're finding out that he actually filed for divorce before she did. It leaked that she did first, but it was actually him, and he's asking for, they do have four smaller children, and he's asking for full custody of the children, as well as spousal support and the home that they live in. She filed as well, and she's asking for, the children to live with her, but they have joint custody, which would mean he would come and see the kids on the weekends, and probably they would alternate on holidays and birthdays and things of that nature, which is what you would expect. You would think they would do, but no, he's wanting it all, and he also wants financial records showing where all the money has gone, because they do say that Kim probably has a gambling problem. And I did too. I really loved Phaedra as well, and so I stopped watching when she left. But they say Kim has a gambling problem, and that's one of the reasons why they're in so much debt, because she's been known to go allegedly. Well, it was actually on their TV show, and spend like lose like 250,000. But I don't know. They were married 11 years. You hate to see when people separate and it ends this way. So I wish them the best, and I hope they can work it out. If nothing else, just to for their children. So that's that hot topic, y'all. Then we go to Tory Lanez. Now, if you don't know Tory Lanez, he is a Canadian singer rapper. Excuse me, he's a Canadian singer rapper, and he was accused a few years ago in the summer of assaulting, like he was firing a weapon that struck um, Megan Pete, who goes by the stage name of Megan Thee Stallion. So she did not actually press charges on him. The state did. This all happened in California. Certain states are really strict about their gun laws, and California is one of them. And so he was tried and convicted of recklessly using a weapon, and he had I think he had two or three charges, and he was convicted. But he's been trying to go for a new trial. Unfortunately for him, um, the judge denied the new trial, so it looks like he will be serving his prison sentence. I believe it's a minimum of 9 years, and the max could be 22 years. But he did have a small outburst in court, but they said it disrupt anything. But he was just telling the judge, I could, because I believe the judge is African American. I could be your son, I could be your brother. Don't ruin my life. But unfortunately, sometimes when you do a crime and you're convicted of it, you have to pay the price for it, and this is the price he has to pay. But that's it with that hot topic, y'all. Moving forward, we also have another man who his star was rising so fast. It's Jonathan Majors, who also had a court date yesterday as well. Now, if you don't know who Jonathan Majors is, he plays in movies. The most recent, I believe, was Creed 3, that did phenomenal numbers in the box office. He was in Ant-Man, or Waspman. He's in Marvels, and he was playing a huge character in Marvels. Like, they were really setting him up to be that next guy. He played in this Netflix Netflix movie called The Harder They Fall. It was a black western. It's really good. And he's played on some TV series, and he's done a lot of things. And really, his star was taking off, his star power. But on a weekend in March, I think around Oscars weekend, he actually got into an altercation with his girlfriend at the time. And they say he called the police, but the police and told them that, she was assaulting him and everything. But the police ended up taking him because they said she had bruising on her. And so they didn't, this is what his lawyer claims. They didn't pay attention to his bruising. They just went after, with her. Now, at first it was like, okay, well, maybe, this, you never know. And don't forget, everything I'm saying is alleged. But so his lawyer is saying that this is a witch hunt. He's innocent, but every piece of evidence they put out doesn't make it look good for him. So I honestly, I think he needs to get a new lawyer. Like, he needs to really look at new representation. But he went to court and they actually put another charge on him that leads up to 1 year, because he's going to court for domestic violence. And he had another charge on him when he went yesterday. He went through Zoom. Um, and there's been other people who actually come out, and even people who work with him, saying, he's not the friendliest of guys, and they're not shocked about the accusations and everything on him, which is a shame, because he comes across, well, most people do, he comes across really friendly. So if this is true, then yeah, he should definitely receive whatever punishment it is happening, that he deserves. And if it's not, hopefully that he'll get to have some of his endorsements, because he had an endorsement with the army, and of course they immediately dropped him. His management team, his PR firm, everyone just dropped him when it came to all this. So I don't know, we'll have to see what's going on, what ends up happening with him. But I don't know, best of luck to him. Hopefully, if this is not true, he'll get it back, but I don't know, because it's not looking good for him right now. And then we have Donald Trump, which I try not to get into politics. This doesn't really have to do with politics. It's about a case that was brought against, a civil case that was brought against him for an something that happened in 1996. It's a claim that happened in 1996. I don't know if the limitation had expired for a criminal case, and that's why they went civil. But he was found liable for defamation and SA, um, abuse, not assault, but SA for E.G. and Carroll. And they found that he did they reviewed the case, and they found that they believe he did do this, and so he will end up having to, because it was a civil case, he will end up having to pay her, I believe it is $5 million. And what really hurt him was there was a video, they said, of him where they showed him a picture of her, because at first he was like, she's not my type, I would never, assault anyone, and especially like her, she's not my type. And then they showed him a picture, and he got her confused with one of his ex-wives. And so just the jury heard the case, and they found him liable. So that's that. And let's move on, because I don't really like to talk about those topics. uh so then we move on to Robert De Niro, because congratulations are in order for him. At 79 years old, he is actually he has a newborn. He just had another baby. He was doing an interview, and they told him, you have 6 kids, and he said, no, I have 7. I just had another child. So yeah, congratulations are in order. I know he has he's been seeing someone, and some people said she did look pregnant in March, but he confirmed in his interview when he was doing his new movie that um he had a child. Um, I'm not sure. So he's got a criminal record. Why would he be able to run for president? She's talking about Trump, Donald Trump. I'm not sure. I need to, because I really don't like to get into politics that way. So, but I'm good. I'm actually interested in that to see what happens now. But there, the Republican Party, excuse me, let me go back to him. The Republican Party are rallying around him right now because, and I get it. They want to, you know, win the, the White House back. They want to win the White House back. So they are rallying around him right now to see, and but he was found liable. So I don't know exactly if they don't have a better candidate that they could bring forth, or even if someone goes against him in the primaries, would they bring this up? Because I mean, I would think that you wouldn't want um, someone to represent your party that was doing this, but I don't know. I have no idea. David says, "Ew, 79, ew." Listen, she's still able to have children, and obviously he is as well. So, yeah, he has a newborn at 79. So, congratulations to him. He's still working, and he's still up and fit and going about. So, congratulations to him. And that's all I have for that topic. Then we have another case of children, and it has to do with Jay-Z. So the young man is alleging that Jay-Z is his father, and he's been doing this for a while. His name is Ramir, and he's alleging, he's 30 years old, and he says that his mother told him as she was passing that Jay-Z was his father, and that was when he was about 8 years old. Unfortunately for him, he didn't try to get any type of DNA testing or anything. Maybe he did, but they swayed him off of it. But he's past the age of 18, so now it's just it's too late. You can't force Jay-Z to get the DNA testing. So what he's doing is he's going to courts, trying to get them to I guess subpoena him, or to be able to have the testing, the DNA testing done, because he alleges that Jay-Z is his father, and he's been saying, like, this story has been around for years. He's been saying this, but I mean, Jay-Z won't take the test, and he can't. The courts can't force him to, so he keeps going to a higher court trying to get them to make them do it. He said he wants absolutely nothing from him, but he just wants him to I guess acknowledge him, that and so the only thing I can say about this case is kind of sad when you think about how long he's been trying to do this, and how he really does feel like this is his father. And so you just wish healing for him, whatever the outcome is, because as of right now he's done this several times where he's trying to get the courts to recognize him, but they keep denying him. So I don't know, sir. All you can wish is healing for him, so that he'll be able to move on. And our final hot topic is The Little Mermaid had its world premiere. Y'all, I am so excited to see this movie. I think I'm gonna see it one time because this was my favorite movie growing up. So I think I'm gonna see it one time without my daughter. I'm gonna go by myself and go watch it, and then I'm gonna take her the next time, probably during a matinee or something, and go watch it with her when it's not as many people. But The Little Mermaid had its premiere. Melissa McCartney is in it. She plays Ursula, and then of course Haley plays the Little Mermaid, and which was a lot of controversy because she is black, African American, and people are accustomed to seeing the Little Mermaid blonde hair, ivory skin, like, because I think she's like an ivory kind of girl. Is she kind of reddish? Anyways, so it was a big controversy, but I'm excited because she's the young lady who's playing her is very talented. So I'm excited to see this movie, and I wish them all the best with that. And y'all, that is the last topic that I had for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for all new soaps and entertainment news hot topics. Goodbye.